Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up AWS event-driven automation solution using Amazon EventBridge and AWS Lambda. As you see in this screen, in my screen, so this is just a pictorial overview of this demo, and it also depicts a workflow like how does the event-driven solution works, okay? So in this, as you see in this picture, so this is just a just a brief of the workflow, like how does the actually event-driven solution works in the AWS account. Okay, so if I can explain this, so it works something like this. Okay, so here the events. Okay, so when you say event in the sense in AWS, it can be a creation of a resource, it can be a deletion of a resource, or it can be anything. Okay, so that is what we call it as a event at AWS account. Okay, so now whenever there is an event happens, that event is supposed to be extracted from the by using some services. For example, here we are using Amazon EventBridge services, which can filter out the required event, yeah, and where that the filtration will be defined in the event rule, and that finally that event will invoke a target service. Here we are invoking AWS Lambda, and in the AWS Lambda we will write a logic to perform our automation task. Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you, like whenever there is an event will happen, this Lambda gets invoked and an automation task will be triggered here. So here the automation task is to send an email to the destination email address. Okay, so that is what my demo will be here, and this is an purely an example event driven automation solution, like how you can set up in our AWS account. Okay, so before I show you the real time demo with using my cloud console, yeah, so finally a kind request. Okay, so to please do subscribe my channel, that would really encourage me a lot. Yeah, so that's a basic a request that I put across. So now let's see and let's go ahead and see, like how we can set up this event driven solution from the scratch to end, and finally we see the demo, like how does this solution behaves at the real time. Okay, all right, so that is the basic. Now let's go. Okay, so first of all, when we are setting this infrastructure, we have to first set up the prerequisite resource. Okay, so here to set up the event rule, the Lambda becomes a prerequisite resource. Okay, so that's the reason what we do is we first set up our AWS Lambda. So now I will switch to my AWS Lambda service page. So this is AWS account. This is my AWS account, and here I'm going to create an example AWS Lambda from the scratch. Okay, so here I clicked on the create functions, then I will give a name of my function here, something like cloud quick POCs cloud quick labs demo. Yeah, so let's say demo 2. Okay, so this is my function name for now, and in that one I will choose the runtime. So let's choose the runtime in the sense it's the latest runtime, that is Python 3.8. In the execution rule, so in the execution role, let's choose the existing role. So I'm choosing my administrator role. Okay, so for your information, this is the role which contains an administrative privilege. Okay, all right, and finally I'm gonna create the function. Okay, so what is the actual resource that we created till now in the event driven automation solution is we are we have created a targeted resource. AWS Lambda is a target resource here. Okay, and the Lambda is ready now. So that is not enough, but we need to do certain configurations changes in this AWS Lambda, so that I'm going to show you here. The first one is in the general configurations, go and edit the general configurations, where you need to increase the timeout. Okay, because 30 seconds is very less. Okay, so that's the reason we are increasing the timeout to a bit more, that is 2 minutes. Okay, and rest all configuration we keep it as it is, and let's click on a save. Once the configurations are been changed, now I will show you one more thing here, that is in the triggers. Okay, in the triggers, as of now it does not has any triggers as of now. Okay, and if I go to the code, okay, so basically when you are creating a fresh Lambda, so you don't have any logical code here, but to show you in this demo, I have already pre-created a script. I'm going to walk you through that script, and I will put that script in the Lambda. Okay, so basically this is the script. Okay, this is the AWS Lambda code, or AWS Lambda handler code, which will actually performs an automation task whenever there is an event happen. Okay, as I explained you, since this is a demo, here we are sending an automated email to an inbox. Okay, and here we are leveraging SES service. Okay, again if you want to learn like how to send a dedicated email to the with using SES APIs with using Python, please go and see my previous videos. On this one I have explained everything from the scratch. Okay, but here I will go very quickly. I will not explain the code in a very deep manner, but I will go as a overview. Okay, so if I can start the explaining this code as a overview. So if I go here in the AWS Lambda handler function, and here it has the event and context, and we are just printing the event. And finally I'm calling a custom function here called send email, which has two parameters. One is the account ID. So we are retrieving the account ID out of the event. Okay, that is the specialization here. Okay, so what is that event driven solution? The logic behind is we consume the data present in the event to, or sometimes maximum at maximum what we do is we try to consume the data present in the event and try to do automation. Yeah, but there could be scenario it may not be using, but okay, that is not mandatory. That is what I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you here. Yeah, and if I go to the next one, that is next parameter. So I'm also retrieving the bucket name. Okay, so here I'm going to show you like how does this event driven works whenever there is we are dealing with the a bucket creation task. Okay, for example, yeah, that is just a demo. All right, so if I can step back and explain you. So here event, in the sense, in my scenario I'm taking a bucket creation as an event. Okay, for example, whenever there is a bucket has been created, how does that event has to be gathered by the event driven solution and send an automated email. Okay, so that is the scenario here. All right, so we were here now, and that's the reason I'm extracting the account ID and bucket name here from the event details. Okay, all right, so now I will go to the function. So this is the function I have written like send email. Basically it sends an email, yeah, with using the SES Boto3 modules. It contains a parameter as I explained, like down in the handler, that is account ID and bucket name. And we are preparing the we are configuring the sender and receptor email addresses here. I'm going to change it when I am going to deploy it to into the AWS Lambda. But this is how. So this is the place where you can change your email addresses. And one more thing is the sender email address must be verified. Okay, so you should go to the SES and that email address has to be verified. Okay, again, if you want to understand this more deeper, please do watch my previous video. And in the region, I'm just choosing the US East region, and the subject line, this has been the dynamic subject line being created. This is the complete dynamic string being created here. We are using bucket name and the account ID dynamically being appended, so that when you send an email, in the email subject line itself you can see that this is the bucket being created, this is the account name. Okay, account number. Okay, that is the just an basic demo. Okay, finally this is the body text. Yeah, so we are putting this is as a body text, wrapping it into the HTML. Yeah, and finally sending an email with using the Boto3 SES Boto3. Okay, so if you see here, this is the Boto3 SES client. We are using that client and invoking an API called send email. And in this send email, we are giving the destination message as a parameters and the sender name as a parameters. Yeah, and that's all my AWS Lambda looks like. And before I this one, so let's copy this. Let me copy this, and then let's dump this code into the my just now created AWS Lambda. I will go here and I will just dump it. Before I dump this one, I just need to change the my email address to my email address, maybe. Yeah, so this is my email address. Maybe in your case we would be changing this email address to your one. Okay, so all right, so this, let me copy this one. Okay, so and I will just update the below recipient email address as well. All right, so yeah, all right, so now let me deploy this code. Okay, so now what I did is I actually whatever the code being written here, the same code I am deploying to AWS Lambda. Now till now we are good. Okay, so till now we are good, and we were successfully uh, configured the AWS Lambda configurations. Okay, now we go to the another component called how do we set up Amazon EventBridge service here. Okay, so for this case, let's go to the Amazon EventBridge service. Okay, so this is the Amazon EventBridge service page. Yeah, so in this one you have to go to the under event, go to the rules, click on create rules. So what is the thing that we are doing here is we are creating a EventBridge rule which will extract the S3 bucket creation events and invokes the AWS Lambda which we created just now. All right, so let me call it as a event rule. Okay, and description, let it call it as a test one, and the event bus, let it be default bus. Okay, so what is the bus actually? The bus is the kind of a container here in which will hold all the rules, and that rule is meant to extract one event and invoke the targets. Okay, all right, in the rule type, rules with the event pattern. Okay, so let's keep that and let's go to the next configurations. And here you need to choose the event source equal to event or event bridge partner, the partner events. Yeah, the optional thing, you can keep it as it is. The sample event is optional, so let's ignore that, and we go to the event pattern. Okay, this is very, very important one. So in this one, I'm gonna, as I said, we are dealing with the S3 bucket creation, right? So that's the reason, let me choose S3. We will choose simple storage service one, and in this one we will be choosing AWS API call via CloudTrail. Yeah, and in the specific operations. Okay, so this is what this filtration makes very granular. Okay, so why does it makes granular? In the sense, if you see the definition here, the event pattern, okay, the source is AWS S3. In the sense, whenever there is a API invocation happens against the AWS S3 services in this account, this event bridge, this event bridge gets invoked. Okay, especially in the North Virginia. Yeah, all right, and the detail type is API call via CloudTrail, and this is the event source again. And we want to invoke this, or we want this rule to extract the events of specific operation type. How do I get that say specific operations? Okay, so there is a bit trick here. For that case, you need to go to the IAM console or IAM service console, go to the policies and click on the create policies. Okay, under the create policies, you will try to you will get that idea actually. Yeah, so here just search for your S3 bucket because you are dealing with the S3 bucket. Yeah, and here is the options. If you see the access level, so those access levels are nothing but APIs. Under the hood, those are nothing but APIs only. So here, since we are dealing with the right operation, that is creating the bucket, I'm going to choose this create bucket string. Okay, and this is the place generally I go for and find out the what is the what is the specific operation API name I need to gather I need to be put on this in this AWS EventBridge. Okay, this is what I do. All right, so this is, and finally if you see the the event pattern. Okay, so this is the event pattern, JSON JSON object, and this is how it looks. Finally, all right, we go to the next, and then finally the target one. Okay, so this is the target one is nothing but we need to mention the target. If I go back to the this picture, or this this flow diagram, so event role is targeting AWS Lambda, invokes with the event. Okay, all right, so that is what we do now. So we are specifying which service need to be invoked. Okay, so just type Lambda and it will show you that Lambda function. In that one, now we have to choose our Lambda which I have created just away, that is just a minute back. Okay, that is cloudquicklabs demo. Okay, all right, rest configuration we keep it default and click next. Yeah, and this is the review and create page. You can review and create, and finally create the rule. All right, so it will take a few minutes, and finally the rules gets created. Okay, all right, till now we have set up we have fair enoughly set up our event driven automation solution infrastructure. Now there is a one more prerequisite that you need to make sure to work this, to help or to make this event driven solution work as expected. You should enable CloudTrail in your CloudTrail service page. Okay, so this is the CloudTrail page of AWS account. This is my AWS account. Yeah, in this one I have enabled CloudTrail. If I expand this one, so in the CloudTrail I have defined saying like all the all the management events API activity has to be tracked. Okay, so this becomes a prerequisite. Okay, without this your rule will not work. Okay, rule will not gather the required event. Okay, that is the forward information. All right, so this is the prerequisite. Now we are done almost. Okay, so right now what we did is, till now we have saw the prerequisite called CloudTrail configurations, which is prerequisite for this demo. We also seen how to set up the AWS Lambda, and a custom code walkthrough also been given. Yeah, and later that we have seen how to set up the event bridge rule, which will extract the required event out of the all the CloudTrails, generally generally from the events or AWS events. Yeah, And finally, finally we have seen, this. Okay, so if we need to confirm that this event rule has been rightly pointed to this lambda, there is a one more trick that you can do. Is right now, earlier this trigger were not there. Okay, now if I refresh, we should see some trigger now, because we have pointed from the event bridge definitions. Okay, or event bridge rule definition. Now the same event pattern, so we can see it here. Okay, so this marks that you have successfully pointed whatever the event rule that you have configured, and this event rule is now ready to invoke this lambda. Okay, all right, so with that note, let's directly jump to the final stage, like testing this demo. So what is the test case here? Okay, so as I explained here, so here we have configured the event rule in a such a way that it will extract the AWS S3 bucket creation events. Okay, so for that case, I need to create one dummy S3 bucket so that event gets gathered by the event bridge rule. Okay, all right, so let me create some dummy bucket name which is contains only number, and make sure that you choose US East one, even though it is a global one. Maybe you need to choose that one as well, and click on a create bucket. So what is it actually we are doing here? We are generating an event actually under the hood. Okay, so the bucket has been created. Now let's go and check if the lambda got invoked. So how do I do that? There are two ways. Okay, maybe I just need to go my inbox and check check if the event has been if the email has been sent here. All right, so right now it has not sent. So if I can go back again, so let me go back. Okay, so let me go back to the CloudWatch. Yeah, so if I go to the CloudWatch, maybe here. Yeah, so in the monitor, if I go to the monitor and go to the cloud view. Yeah, all right, so we should see the CloudTrail should be invoked. Okay, so let's see what is the thing that happened actually. Maybe syntax errors. Okay, let's see what is happening. Here we go, the lambda has been invoked. How I am confirming that lambda has invoked? Because under this CloudWatch log groups, the log has been created. What does that intimate? It tells that this event driven solution is now working, right? So whenever we are creating S3 bucket, it is being captured by the event rule and it is invoking the lambda, and that is what this log tells. Maybe I will fine tune, I will try to fix this. Okay, what is the error it is telling? It is telling that this particular email is not being verified. Okay, that's the reason I told particularly we need to verify that we need to verify that particular email address. Okay, for purposefully I have modified that. Maybe I will recorrect it, and that should be the suffice. Okay, that should be resolving this issue for now. All right, so let me deploy this again. Yeah, so once I deploy again, let's go and try to test it again. Yeah, all right, so I have deployed the lambda. Now time to test it again by creating a S3 bucket. Yeah, I'm creating S3 bucket with dummy name, and just wait for a few seconds, because just now we deployed, right? So generally what I recommend is I recommend you that once you deploy the code, you have to wait for minimum 5 seconds. Okay, because so that the code gets automatically dumped into the backend servers of this serverless AWS Lambda. Now let's go back to the S3 bucket, and let's time to create a bucket again, which is we are testing it second time. Okay, so that I show you that it triggers the AWS Lambda, and the Lambda triggers an email. Okay, so let's go and see my inbox. Here you go, right? My inbox has received an email, right? So if you see here, right, the resource creation notification has been sent. So if I open this one, right, if you see the the message, okay, so it says that resource creation notification. Okay, so where S3 bucket, if I see, right, so this is the S3 bucket which we created just now. Yeah, so yeah, so if I see this, control F, so right, so this is the S3 bucket which we created just now, and that is being picked up. Okay, and that is being picked up, and finally it also appending account ID as well. Okay, so that's all. I have I have successfully shown you the things to be shown here. Okay, finally a recap. Okay, so what we saw here is we saw that whenever there is an event happens in the AWS account, that event can be gathered by the EventBridge rule, and in the rule we have defined in a very fine grained method, saying like whenever there is this pattern of event is there, extract that event and invoke a target. Here the target is nothing but AWS Lambda service. In the AWS Lambda, we have written a logic such a way that it will automatically send an email. Okay, all right, so I have seen, I have successfully shown you everything that I need to show, in this demo. Yeah. Finally, a kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. Yeah. So with that note, thank you. Thanks a lot.